So I was out in the shop today working on one of our water jet machines, and I came across kind of an odd little problem. It turned out to be this bad surge protector, and it took me a while to actually troubleshoot this issue. And I'm actually gonna hack a plug onto the end of this. This was removed directly from a machine that was wired in through a DIN rail termination. So they actually, whenever they make the machine, they cut the plug off and all that. So I'll put another one on and we'll plug it in, and we'll take a closer look at why it was so hard for me to find this problem. Hopefully it'll duplicate the issue on the bench. If not, I'll just tell you about it as we pull this thing apart. Alright, so I've got the plug kind of sort of on there. It's okay. And let's go ahead and plug it in and see what we got. Let's get you a little closer here. Okay, so we can see that our main light is on, and here we have line OK, and that's a green light. Fault light is off. Protection present is also off. So by just a glance, this power supply is okay. If we pull out our meter, and let's see if it'll make a liar out of me. We're not getting any voltage. Very, very slight stuff. And then we can cross-check to ground even. And no matter which way we go, there's no power there. So that was the reason it took me so long to figure this out, because I was looking at everything after this surge protector trying to figure out why the computer wasn't working, when in reality these lights were fooling me. So I want to pull this thing apart and see what was happening in here and see if maybe there's some clue. I'm not going to fix it. I don't like fixing surge protectors. These are kind of like a fuse to me. It's one and done. If there's a fault on it, they're so cheap, it's easy to replace, and it's not worth taking the risk of having a repaired surge protector online. Step one is unplugging it.
No, that's just a ground cable.
Alright, so the first thing I see here is a fuse on the PCB. Let's check and see if that may be the problem. Looks like it. So that's very interesting. It is or rather it wasn't a surge, it was an overcurrent, which, if I think about it, it does seem likely. There is a circuit breaker that protects this circuit, specifically the one that this plugs into. It is the only thing that is fed off of that circuit. So I kind of expected, the circuit breaker was tripped, so I kind of expected that they would have made it to where the circuit breaker was the first line of protection rather than the second. They may not have realized that this fuse was in line on this surge protector, which is really good. I'm actually really impressed with the build quality of this surge protector. And let me just show you one of the details that I found that really kind of tells me that this is a really well thought out little box. So if you look here where this ground lug is bolted down to, there's actually a little circle under it that's bare metal. So that means that whenever they coated this metal, they actually made sure that there was no coating where that ground lug goes, so you get the best possible contact to this case. So little details like that really go to show, you know, the really good build quality that this is, at least to me. Some people may look at it and say that, oh, it's a horrible PCB layout, or, you know, these mobs are real cheesy or something like that. Actually, those are, I think those are mobs. Yeah, I think all these are mobs. But to me, I mean, the wire size on these inductor coils is massive. You know, it's even, I would say it's actually even larger than the incoming wire itself. So it really seems like it's built to really handle a lot of power going through it. So all that being said, this is actually that little fault light PCB. Not a whole lot to it. Looks like two diodes for a little bit of rectification. That may actually, I think that's a little voltage regulator. And I'm not exactly sure how they're working these fault lights, but I'm not really interested too much in that. It does explain to me though why the fault light wasn't lit up, because it's engineered to go off for a surge. This is a surge protector. So whenever this fuse blows, there's nothing in there to tell it that a blown fuse is actually a fault. That is one thing that, you know, I feel they maybe should have designed a little different, but the rest of it is really great. All that being said, I'm kind of debating on whether or not I should actually replace that fuse. I don't have these. I would have to order them. I'll tell you what, let's look up this surge protector and I'll see how much it costs, and then I'll kind of make a decision from there. Because the best that I can do with it is replace the fuse, put it back in the machine, but if it's going to cost me, you know, $10 to get 5 fuses that I'll probably never use again, and yeah, I would definitely say that is a blown up fuse. Alright, so I've soldered in a little wire to replace that fuse for right now. And for those of you getting ready to crucify me, don't run to the lumber yard just yet. This is not going to go back on any machine like this. This is strictly to confirm that yes, that bad fuse is the entire issue on here. I did look up this exact model of surge protector. It is about $45, which is kind of on the high side for a 4-plug. Okay, so protection present, but that's a green light, so I'm assuming that actually means it's good. Maybe I should have looked up an owner's manual for this thing. And we are... And I mean, as you can see, we are getting voltage now. So, you know, for even if it is $10 and I get 5 of these fuses, what are the odds that maybe one day it'll pop again, or I can use these, you know? So maybe I will fix it.
These are kind of like a fuse to me.
It looks like a 250 volt. $15 amp. Wow. So yeah, 15 amp. That's a pretty sizable fuse. I wonder if this is a fast blow, because circuit breakers are a little bit slower. So that may be why there's a weak link in it, because I do believe that the circuit breaker is actually a 15 amp also. So it may just be that they're equally rated, but that fuse blows fast. So I guess in the end, this wasn't such a confusing fault to find after all. It was more along the lines of me just being ignorant of how this particular surge protector operates and, you know, shows faults. I still say, and this is a really weak defense, that if that fuse blows, then I think the fault light should come on. I know that's going to be a lot more circuitry and going to make an already expensive surge protector more expensive, but you're buying an expensive surge protector anyways. I want all the bells and whistles. Jury's still out on whether or not I'm going to repair it. Why don't you guys tell me what you think? Fix it, put it back into service, fix it, maybe use it on the bench just as a nice little surge protector, or scrap it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep rolling around. Put a kickstand up.